She texted, "I wish you were more like him," along with a photo of her ex at the gym. I replied, "Me too." Then I became exactly like him. Single, focused, and thriving. Only difference? I was dating her younger cousin who truly valued me. The family group chat went silent when our pregnancy announcement came. It was 11:47 p.m. on a Thursday night when my phone lit up with a message that changed everything. I was exhausted after a 14-hour shift at the accounting firm, barely managing to keep my eyes open as I set up my girlfriend's favorite show on Netflix. Her name was Melissa, 33, and we had been together for 3 years, living together for 1. I thought things were stable, comfortable, maybe even heading toward marriage someday. But then, out of nowhere, her text came in with a picture attached. A shirtless gym photo of her ex, Trent. The message said, "I wish you were more like him." For a moment, I just stared at the screen, unsure if I was reading it right. The guy was doing curls, his body oiled up like a rotisserie chicken under bright gym lights. It was so absurd that I almost laughed. But then the weight of it hit me. I just spent my day working through tax season hell to make sure we could afford the lifestyle she loved. The apartment, the vacations, the car, everything. And this was what I got in return. I typed back a simple, "Me too." She read it instantly but didn't reply. Maybe she thought I was being sarcastic, or that I'd brush it off like always. But I meant every word. Something shifted inside me that night. What Melissa didn't know was that I actually knew quite a bit about Trent. My friend Derek worked at the same tech company as him. Trent was single, lived in a tiny studio apartment, dated randomly, and according to his LinkedIn, yes, I checked, made about 40% less than I did. But sure, he had sick abs. I sat there thinking about it, and then it hit me. She wanted me to be more like Trent? Fine. Game on. The next morning, I called in sick. My first sick day in 2 years. I drove straight to the gym and signed up for the premium membership, personal trainer included. Then I got a fresh haircut, bought some new gym clothes, and stood in front of the mirror thinking, all right, let's see what happens. When I got home, Melissa was getting ready for work. She looked surprised to see me. "You're home? I thought you had that big client meeting," she said. "Took a personal day," I replied casually. "Going to be more like Trent, remember? He posts gym selfies at 10 a.m. on weekdays. Guess he doesn't have a demanding job either." She rolled her eyes. "That's not what I meant, and you know it." "Oh, really?" I said. "Then what did you mean by sending me another man's thirst trap at midnight?" She folded her arms. "I just think you've let yourself go. Trent still looks amazing after all these years." Let myself go. That hit harder than I expected. I gained maybe 15 pounds since we started dating, sure. But that's what happens when you work 60-hour weeks trying to support the life someone else designed for you. "You're right," I said quietly. "I should prioritize myself more." Her face softened instantly. She smiled, kissed my cheek, and said, "See? That's all I wanted." She had no idea what she had just started. 2 weeks later, the transformation was already underway, though not in the way Melissa expected. I reorganized my entire life, cut my work hours down to 40 per week exactly. No more overtime, no more late-night emails. My boss wasn't thrilled, but he couldn't complain about my performance. I started hitting the gym every morning at 6. I even began posting shirtless progress photos on Instagram, just like Trent. But I didn't stop there. If I was going to be like Trent, I was going all in. Trent was single and social, always out meeting new people. So I started going to after-work happy hours instead of rushing home. I joined a local basketball league. I even attended networking events. And that's where I met Natalie, Melissa's younger cousin. Natalie was 27, worked at a nonprofit, and had this bright, genuine energy that drew people in. She was warm, down to earth, and actually listened when I spoke. We ended up talking about her upcoming fundraiser. Naturally, I offered to help with the financial side since I was an accountant. "Really?" she said. "Melissa always said you were too busy with work to help with family stuff." I smiled. New me, prioritizing things that matter. We exchanged numbers, strictly professional, of course. Meanwhile, Melissa was growing restless. She didn't like this new version of me. Suddenly, I wasn't available to run her errands or pick her up from girls' nights. I was too busy with basketball or networking. I even split the dinner bills 50-50, since Trent probably wouldn't have paid for everything either. This isn't what I wanted, she snapped one night. I stayed calm. You literally said you wanted me to be more like your ex. I'm following the blueprint perfectly. I meant physically. Get in shape. I am. I've lost 8 pounds already. But you can't expect me to copy just the parts you like. His whole lifestyle enables his physique. Her face fell silent. She didn't have an answer. Then I made another change. I stopped covering her extras. The coffee runs, yoga classes, nail appointments, all the little things I'd been funding for years. One morning she texted, "Can you transfer me some money?" My card got declined at Starbucks. "Sorry," I replied. Spent my extra cash on protein powder and gym gear. Trent says budgeting is key to fitness. Her response was just a single emoji, that angry cat face with the flat mouth. Said everything. 6 weeks later, things got even more interesting. Natalie and I had been working closely on the fundraiser, and it was clear she genuinely valued my effort. She thanked me often, appreciated my time, and never once compared me to anyone else. It was refreshing. Meanwhile, Melissa was unraveling. She suddenly became interested in working out together. That lasted 2 sessions before she gave up. She tried cooking healthy meals but ordered takeout by the 3rd day. She even sent me a gym selfie that was so awkwardly posed I nearly choked laughing. Then came Thanksgiving dinner at her parents' house. The whole family was there, including Natalie. Melissa started bragging right away, taking credit for my fitness journey. I told him he needed to prioritize his health, she said loudly. Sometimes men need a push from their partners. Across the table, Natalie caught my eye and smirked. She knew the truth. I'd vented to her during our meetings. Later that evening, while I was helping clear the table, Melissa's aunt asked about the fundraiser. "Oh, it's going amazingly," Natalie said excitedly. "Your future son-in-law here has been a huge help. He completely reorganized our budget and found us 3 new corporate sponsors." Melissa froze, fork halfway to her mouth. "What? You're helping with that?" "Yeah," I said casually. "For about a month now. Didn't I mention it?" Her mother's eyes lit up. "That's so generous of you." Melissa looked ready to explode. "You never told us he was working with Natalie," because she didn't know. She'd been too busy posting inspirational quotes about leveling up your man on Facebook. The car ride home was silent, the kind of silence that screams. Finally, she said, "How long have you been hanging out with my cousin?" "We don't hang out," I replied calmly. "We work on the fundraiser. Giving back to the community. Trent volunteers at animal shelters. Doesn't he? This is different. And you know it. Different how? I'm just being more like Trent. Networking, staying social, helping others. Everything you said you wanted." She didn't speak another word that night. A few weeks passed after that silent car ride, and I could feel the distance between us turning into a canyon. Melissa's jealousy was brewing under the surface, like a volcano waiting to explode. Meanwhile, Natalie and I continued working together on the fundraiser. What started as a professional collaboration slowly became a genuine friendship. She was funny, smart, and kind. Everything Melissa used to be before entitlement took over. The fundraiser turned out to be a massive success, raising over 3 times the original goal. When Natalie hugged me in front of everyone to thank me for my help, Melissa's smile vanished instantly. That night, Melissa finally lost control. "You're doing this to punish me?" she shouted, tears in her eyes. "Doing what?" I asked calmly. "Being exactly what you think I asked for," she snapped. "Oh, you mean working out, helping charities, living a balanced life?" "Yeah, terrible of me." "She has a crush on you," she accused. I smirked slightly. "Interesting. And how would you know that?" "It's obvious. The way she looks at you." "You mean with respect and appreciation?" "Yeah, I guess that's pretty obvious. Melissa went silent for a moment, then said softly, I think we need couples therapy. Sure, I said, hiding my amusement. Let's talk about how you compared me to your ex and sent me his half-naked photos. Therapy was opening. The therapist didn't buy into Melissa's usual victim act. She looked straight at her and asked, So, you sent your partner a picture of another man and said you wished he was more like him? Melissa tried to defend herself. I just wanted him to be healthier. By comparing him to an ex? The therapist pressed. How would you feel if he sent you photos of his ex-girlfriend saying he wished you looked more like her? Melissa sat there in silence, her eyes flicking to me but finding no support. The therapist suggested individual counseling for her, but she refused. We need to fix us, not me. But there was no us left to fix. I'd already decided that weeks ago. I was just waiting for the right moment to end it. That moment came the following Friday. I took the day off to help Natalie organize a charity 5K run. After the race, we took a photo together at the finish line. Medals around our necks, laughing, sweaty, but happy. I posted it on Instagram. Melissa saw it almost immediately. Within minutes, my phone blew up with texts. Are you kidding me right now? You're supposed to be at work. You look way too happy with her. I didn't respond. I was busy having breakfast with Natalie and her team, who were thanking me for my work. When I got home later that evening, I found a printed copy of the Instagram photo sitting on the kitchen counter, like a piece of evidence in a trial. Explain this, she demanded. It's a charity 5K, I replied casually. Trent runs marathons, remember? I'm just working my way up. With her, she snapped. With hundreds of people, I said calmly. She just happens to be one of them. I want you to stop seeing her. Sure, I said. Right after you delete all of Trent's photos from your phone. Her face went pale. That's different. It's not different at all, I said coldly. Actually, it's worse. I'm helping with charity work. You're hoarding thirst traps of your ex. She quickly grabbed her phone, pretending to delete them all. There. Happy? Not quite, I said. I'll stop working with Natalie when you reimburse me for 3 years of covering your lifestyle. What? She looked shocked. I pulled out my phone and opened a spreadsheet. $47,832. That's the amount I've spent paying for your extras beyond our 50-50 split. I have every receipt. You kept track? She asked, her voice trembling. That's psychotic. No, I said flatly. That's accounting. My profession, remember? I'm your girlfriend, she pleaded. Partners support each other. Like you supported me when you told me I let myself go? When you compared me to your ex? I asked quietly. She started crying then, the same manipulative tears that used to work every time. But not anymore. I'm done, I said calmly. You have 30 days to find a new place. You can't kick me out, she yelled. I live here. Your name's not on the lease. You're month to month. Here's your written notice. I pulled the document from my bag. I'd already had it notarized that morning. Her meltdown was epic. She called her mom, her sister, her friends, even posted on Facebook about being blindsided and abandoned. But nobody bought it. People had already seen her toxic behavior play out online for months. A week later came the next level of chaos, what I now call the extinction level event. Melissa refused to accept that it was over. First, she claimed she didn't have to move out. You can't evict me, she screamed. Actually, I can, I replied calmly. I talked to a lawyer. Then she tried to demand money for things she'd bought for the apartment. Her sister Rebecca even called me. Melissa says you owe her for the decorations. You mean the $30 throw pillows and that dying plant? I said. She can take whatever she bought. I have receipts for everything that's mine. Rebecca hang up. Next, Melissa tried to poison my friend group. She sent a group text saying I'd emotionally cheated with her cousin. My friend Brad replied instantly, Didn't you literally send him half-naked pics of your ex saying you wished he was more like him? The group chat went silent after that. But she wasn't done. The peak of her entitlement came when she called my mother. My mom! I groaned when I saw her name flashing on my phone. Son, she said immediately. Is this about that girl who sent you photos of her ex? How do you? You told your aunt, she told me. I've been waiting for you to dump that witch, my mother said calmly. Good riddance. God bless mothers who see right through everything. A few days later, Melissa showed up at a coffee shop where Natalie and I were reviewing contracts for another charity event. She'd clearly been stalking my location on social media. She walked straight up to our table, eyes blazing. Really? She screamed. You're already dating her? We're working, Natalie said calmly, on a charity event. Helping people. I know what you're doing, Melissa hissed. Stop, I said firmly. You're embarrassing yourself. She stole you. Nobody stole anyone, Natalie said softly. You threw him away. Melissa's eyes went wide. Are you actually dating? Not yet, Natalie said, glancing at me with a small smile. But I'm hoping. Melissa exploded, screaming in the middle of the cafe. The barista threatened to call the police before she finally stormed out. That night, she sent me a final text. If you date her, you're dead to my family. Choose wisely. I smiled and replied, I choose wisely every day. 2 weeks before she was supposed to move out, she tried one last power move. I came home from basketball practice to find Trent. Yes, the same ex from the gym photo, sitting on my couch drinking my beer. Hey man, he said casually. Mel said you were cool with me crashing for a bit. Melissa came out of the bedroom with a smirk. Trent's between places. I told him he could stay here until I move out. You're all about being like him, right? I just stared at her, half in shock, half in disbelief. Get out, I said to Trent. Whoa, bro, he started. She doesn't live here anymore, I interrupted. She's a guest who's leaving. Trent looked confused. Mel, you said you guys were taking a break. She lied, I said flatly. You're being used as a prop. Leave. To his credit, Trent looked uncomfortable. This is weird, he said finally. Mel, what's going on? She tried to deflect, but even Trent could see the truth. He left, shaking his head, and said before he walked out, Sorry man, didn't know. Melissa screamed after the door slammed. You just humiliated me. You did that yourself, I said. Pack your stuff. Get out tonight. She tried to argue, but I was already dialing the police non-emergency line. That's when she finally broke down, throwing her things into trash bags, crying and cursing. You'll regret this, she yelled. The best thing that happened to me was you showing me that gym photo, I replied calmly. It opened my eyes. She slammed the door so hard the frame shook. A month later, Natalie and I started dating officially. It was easy, peaceful, honest. We split bills fairly, communicated openly, and supported each other without keeping score. Melissa's family didn't take it well. Her mother called it betrayal. But Natalie's mother fired back. Your daughter sent him photos of her ex. That's betrayal. Even Melissa's grandma got involved, reminding everyone that Melissa once did the same thing to another cousin years ago. The family group chat exploded with drama. And then came the final update, the one that silenced that chat entirely. 8 months after the night she sent me that gym photo, Natalie and I announced we were expecting a baby. It was planned, wanted, and celebrated. Her family was overjoyed. Melissa, of course, heard within minutes. She lost her mind, screaming that I got Natalie pregnant out of spite. Sure, because having a child out of spite is totally logical. In a way, I'm grateful to Melissa. If she hadn't sent that photo, I would still be stuck funding her lifestyle, ignoring my own happiness. Instead, I found someone who appreciates me, not for my money, but for who I am. I'm in the best shape of my life, building a real future with a woman who sees me as a partner, not a paycheck. Oh, and as for Trent, he actually reached out recently, said he's trying to get his life together and asked for the budget template I used for the fundraiser. I sent it to him, Because that's what self-improvement really means. Moving forward without bitterness. Melissa still posts inspirational quotes about high standards on Instagram. Natalie's bio simply says, "Found the man who exceeds them." And me? I deleted Instagram. I'm too busy living my actual life, preparing for fatherhood, and enjoying the peace that comes when you finally stop chasing approval from the wrong person. Turns out, the best revenge isn't becoming what someone else wants. It's becoming who you were always meant to be. And for the record, the gym membership was worth every penny. These abs are fantastic.